If you're injured in an accident in Illinois, but believe you may have been at least partially responsible, you might wonder whether you can still pursue a personal injury claim. My name is Zach Anderson. I'm a co-owner at 217 Law and an injury attorney in Central Illinois. And in this video, I just want to briefly explain how Illinois law handles situations where more than one person may share responsibility for an accident. Illinois follows what's called a modified comparative negligence rule, comparative fault rule. What this means is that an injured person can still recover compensation so long as they are not more than 50% responsible for the accident. However, if the injured person is partially at fault, then their recovery may be reduced by their percentage of responsibility. So, for example, say you take a case to a jury, and the jury awards the injured person $100,000 in damages. But the jury also says that the injured person was 20% at fault for causing those injuries. Then their total recovery of $100,000 in that example would be reduced by 20%, so their $100,000 becomes 80%. Conversely, if that person is found to be more than 50% responsible for what happened, then Illinois law generally prevents them from recovering damages from the other party. Fault in almost every injury case can be disputed. And, evidence such as accident reports, witness statements, photographs, videos, and sometimes even expert analysis can be very important in determining how responsibility is allocated. Unless you're an attorney who deals with these types of cases, I wouldn't assume that you are or were not at fault for anything. Um, a lot of times, even if sometimes we, I think, as humans, have a tendency to want to accept some responsibility for some situations, even if we that just isn't necessarily warranted. And so, even if you do think you're a little bit at fault, or maybe even more than 50% at fault for an accident, it's probably still worth your while to reach out to an attorney and see if you think anything can be pursued because again, what you think you might be responsible for might not necessarily be what an insurance adjuster or the law even says you might be responsible for. So, if you're injured in an accident in Central Illinois and you have any questions about that, about how fault's allocated, please feel free to reach out. We have to talk to you.